What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fanatically Speaking. I'm Kent.
I'm Log Off. I'm the Log Off legend. And we're here to say everything that every fan is thinking, but louder and probably a little crazier. Get ready. This is Fanatically Speaking with Kent and Log Off. You know what's funny? Like, I'm not a social media hater. I'm a social media hater. Hello, Fanatically Speaking listeners, subscribers. This is Log Off legend, the hater of social media. I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up about this week's podcast. So Kent had an issue with his microphone while we were recording. And just to be incredibly honest with you, the audio quality is terrible. However, the podcast was still a great recording. And this episode is our basketball heavy episode. We have a series of them that we're putting out over the next couple of episode drops. It's really good. It's really strong. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It's really basketball heavy. It was still a really good episode. We had a lot of fun making it. And I felt like it was strong enough. I made some edits to the audio and pieced it together as best I could. And I wanted to go ahead and put this out because I still think that there is some enjoyment that can be had with it. There's no one to blame. It is not Kent's fault. So please go ahead and continue to listen to this the way you've listened to any of our other episodes. I apologize if there's any audio issues for you, although I still think we did a good job. And if you have a problem with the audio, kiss my ass.
All right, so let's get into it. We're going to get into a little bit of Zion Williamson. NBA season coming up. Recently in the news for apparently being skinny.
And so this is my wheelhouse, all right? For those listening, I think I told you in the group chat, I am a recovering fat ass. I've been fat forever. I don't care how much weight I lose. I'm always going to consider myself fat. So I am the expert on this topic. I just kind of want to get your thoughts from the beginning when you saw the pictures. What was the first thing that came to your mind when you saw the photos about, because he went over everything. He went over his diet. He went over his workouts. He went over having like the coaches and everybody help him lose weight. What crossed your mind when you saw it first?
He's a big guy anyways, muscular, but not chiseled in any sense. So, definitely looked like he'd been working out. Definitely, the face and all that. And then I think you sent some different pictures. And it was not as noted. It was like, okay, he's not as skinny as I thought. But he did look like he had been working out. So that's a good thing that he's at least in the off season, he's working out. But as I said, when the season starts, then you got, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, he might be eating candy there too. So I think he normally puts on the pounds and the injuries as soon as the season starts.
So as the resident fat ass, when I saw the pictures and I mean this sincerely, because we can make fun of short people because both you and I are short.
Yes.
I can make fun of overweight people because I've been overweight for the majority of my life. I am an expert on this topic. Also, Zion and myself are from the same place. We're from South Carolina. We're from that soil. We're from that dirt. And even though he is a athletic specimen, I know that body type. I know what food sticks to him. I know what his diet is like, what his diet was like growing up. I know what his diet is like now that he's got all the money and he's got access to everything that he wants. It is a very, very slippery slope with someone with Zion's type of body, because sandwiches, cereal,
yeah.
Certain types of food are going to stick to you differently. And I think kind of what we're seeing with him is a facade. I'm going to give him till like March or April, and you'll notice that he starts to thicken himself back up. And the best example,
the whole season.
You think the whole season?
No, that is the whole season.
Well, no, but think about it. It'll be the whole season while he's playing professional basketball.
Yeah.
He's going to gain weight.
Well, yeah, I told you. He's going to go through these holidays and like everybody.
Yeah, he's going to go through the holidays and, All-Star break. is going to hit him for All-Star break. But I think the best example I had off the top of my head was, do you remember that year in Miami where LeBron lost a bunch of weight?
I do.
He was super leaned out, and then out of nowhere, it's like he just showed up 15, 20 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen with Zion. We're not going to notice it because it's going to be so natural to what we're used to seeing him look like that it's not going to come out of nowhere to where it's unexpected. We're all going to be waiting to see, what his weight's going to be, when he comes back after a long stretch. And who knows? He's probably going to get injured because, he has a bad injury history.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to have to see what he looks like with street clothes on.
That too.
Most likely he will be injured, and most likely he will have just. I don't know what he'll be wearing, but it'll be trying to figure out, has he lost weight? Has he gained weight? We'll have to look at his face.
Yeah, we'll take a look at his face, but again, I know this. The face is a trick because you can lose a lot of the baby weight in your face, but it shows up in the hips, it shows up on the waist. I'm carrying that right now. I'm touching it as we're having making this podcast.
Yeah.
But
it only gets worse as you get older.
Oh, trust me, I know. But the other thing I wanted to look at is, and we can make the jokes all day about, Zion being heavy. That is what it is. But I really wanted to take a look at the Pelicans as a whole, and let's take everything we said so far and just throw it in the trash. Looking at him in his current shape, what do you think the expectations for the Pelicans are this year?
Don't expect a lot.
Okay, why is that? With him being in fantastic shape, why not?
It just doesn't equal wins. It never has. You could easily name 8 teams, 10 teams, right, better than the Pelicans.
That's fair.
I don't care who they picked up, which they picked up Jordan Poole, right?
Okay. Yeah.
No, I mean,
and he's gonna chuck it. He's gonna chuck it around, and DeJounte Murray got to come back from injury thing. They made a couple of moves trying to get younger, a little more athletic. But again, Zion, I mean, he'll be on the good news is every other year he does play over 30 games. So this would be the year that he would play 60 to 70 games.
Okay. So you're doing the 1 year on, 1 year off thing.
Well, I'm looking at it. It goes 24, 61, 29, 70, 30.
Okay. All right. No, that's a stat I did not have. Yeah.
So based off of that, he's going to play.
Okay. All right. No, that's strong.
But I still not put them in the the top of the West. As we do a little preview for just the Pelicans here.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm going to take the Spurs, I'm going to take the Mavericks, the Wolves, the Rockets, the Warriors, the Nuggets, the Thunder, our favorite, the Clippers, even the Lakers, and a healthy Grizzlies. I mean,
you take all of them over the Pelicans.
Maybe not the Grizzlies, but I named a bunch.
I'm looking at their roster. Whoa. Wow. I don't know who that GM is, but I feel like I could be better. So, of course, you mentioned the big names. You mentioned Zion. You mentioned DeJounte Murray. And then you mentioned Jordan Poole. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a wizard.
He was a wizard.
Yeah, they traded McCollum for him.
Got it. Okay. So the fourth best player on that team is a dog, but still their fourth best player. It's Jose Alvarado. Okay.
Right. He hides in the bushes and comes out and steals.
Right? It steals the ball from, sometimes maybe he's even his own teammates. And then they've got, my favorite big man, but is really a tall man, Kevon Looney.
Yeah, picked him up from the Warriors.
Yeah, got him. So that's about it. Like I don't see any other hoopers on this roster.
No.
And so they don't have a bench. Their starting five is shaky. We don't know if Zion's going to play. Jordan Poole's going to take everybody's shots and shoot 30-something% from the field. Alvarado, he's going to play defense hard, but he can't score points. Murray is going to kind of have to be their...
He's going to have to get a triple-double.
He's going to have to elevate his game for them to even be competitive. For it even be a conversation, he's going to have to be super aggressive. And I don't see it. So I kind of hate to rain on the parade of Zion being in good shape. Good for him. He's getting healthier. But at the end of the day, it's just one of those things where unfortunately, it might be all for nothing.
Yeah, and again, me being a Duke fan, obviously I like Zion and root for him, but he's made it hard to root for him. You know what I mean? It's the jokes are so easy with his personal life, and then with his weight and injuries, it's just easy to take cracks at him. But they'd be better off trading Zion to a team so he could be a piece on a team rather than the guy. He puts up numbers. That is for sure. Like when he plays, he does put up numbers. He is still a freak athlete. It just doesn't always equal win.
So I was gonna save this for my Clippers take, but we're here already. There's a NBA rumor mill that's brewing, saying that with the impending Clippers situation with the investigation and all the salary cap circumvention, that what the Clippers may actually look to do, and I don't know if you heard this. I hope I'm springing this on you.
I think you are.
They may be looking to take all the picks that they have and just trading them for Zion.
Oh,
because
the Clippers.
Because they fear, and this is just the rumor mill. The rumor mill is that they fear that the league is going to come and take the picks from them. So by getting rid of the picks, all the league can do is take their future picks. But they take those current picks that they have, make the transaction for Zion, get him on that team, and pair him with that roster, and that makes them great. Especially to say that, he doesn't have to carry so much of that team all by himself. I throw that at you. What do you think about that?
I think that they would have a bunch of names, right?
Okay.
Because they picked up John Collins, Bradley Beal, Chris Paul to add with Kawhi and James Harden. So I would also just say that, it makes sense the Clippers would want Zion. He likes to be hurt, and he doesn't win.
He's also young.
He is young.
They also could kind of couch his minutes and ease him into the game, ease him into their rotation. And I think he can be effective, because that's the one thing I'll give Zion about, because I'm gonna take another shot at Zion. But the one thing I'll say about Zion is whenever he's on the floor, that dude is effective. He is an effective basketball player, whether it's defensively, getting rebounds, getting good looks, taking high percentage shots. We saw it a couple of years ago where he developed into a little walk-in three that he'd been working on. Like the guy has game. He can play basketball.
Yes, he can.
I would hate to see that. I might throw my head through a window if the Clippers actually did something to that effect and kind of got off scot-free, for lack of a better phrase. But the one thing I will say, because I've been trashing Zion, I'm going to say that I suffer from the same afflictions that Zion did, especially when I was his age. I made enough money to where I could buy all the food that I wanted, and I ate like a pig. And another vice that him and I share was our strong, urging desires for beautiful women. and I suffered that affliction as well. So I don't know what I would have been if somebody would have gave me Zion's money in my early 20s. I might be 400 pounds with, 6 baby mamas too.
But they're giving him money to play basketball, and he's got to be in his best shape. And but they did give him the money. So
yeah, highest paid player on that roster.
So next topic, still basketball, still NBA. Going to get on LeBron James.
So when the news came out about the whole decision, number 2, the second decision, everybody had the same thought. He's going to announce his retirement. My thought was that he was going to announce his retirement in advance, meaning this is going to be my last season in the NBA. Of course, he did the fake out, pump fake everybody, and announced his new brand of cognac, which I don't even know the name, and I refuse to learn the name of it. So were we on the same page where you thought it was going to be a retirement announcement too?
I didn't. I didn't think it would be. I like the joke about it. I texted you and said, fingers crossed, he's going to retire. And then, of course, sent the, John Cena, who did a whole retirement tour this year in wrestling. Coach K did it in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
It's for people who want their flowers, Not the first time, but I thought maybe because he had gotten hurt, maybe it's just time. But again, he wants to, play eventually with his grandkids. So, he just keeps on playing, man. He won't go away. And I'm not a LeBron fan, so I was early, and then he soured on me, and now I just wish he would go away.
No, I
respect him. I appreciate his talent. I definitely appreciate his talent. But yeah, I'm just like this stuff like this. I mean, these are the types of stuff. This is the type of stuff that makes you just be like, yeah, this is why I don't like this guy. Gotcha. Jordan never made me think this way.
So I'm wishy-washy when it comes to LeBron. I was captivated by him coming into the league as a teenager, taking the league by storm. I watched his first game in awe of how good he actually was as a basketball player. He had it all on day one. Then he became the thing that I don't like when it comes to men. And you laugh at me when I say this. I'm never a fan. I've never been a fan of a grown man who craves the attention from others. Just do your thing. And I know that those types of dudes exist, but you're LeBron James, dude. You have the world. You wanted life. You have everything. You got the family. Your family's always going to be taken care of. Your mom is a celebrity now. You've won the championships. You've got all the basketball records. You're playing on a team with your son. You don't need to have the basketball world stop, days before the season to announce the new, some new alcohol that you're selling. It felt forced. It felt unnecessary. And again, I was a fan of his from the beginning, but just his behavior over the years is just like, come on, man. Like, we don't need that.
Yeah, this could have been done in just a news story, but this is the part, because I know you just love social media, but he had to announce it on social media to get everything, the buzz going, and it come out to be nothing. But that's what he does. Like I said, he really does love attention. He's always done that. He's always, fake reading books. I just want him to. I just want him. If he done one thing, I might change my mind on him.
What is that?
If he would just help Delonte West out.
What? Why did Delonte catch a stray?
If he would just help him out, man. If LeBron would just be like, hey, man, let me help you. Let me help you off the street. Let me get you better.
Well,
why did Mark Cuban have to try? Why can't LeBron,
Listen, based on the allegations that we've heard about Delonte West, I can't say that I blame LeBron for not going out there and trying to help him. I'm just going to be honest. I can't say that I blame him. But at the same time,
better blame his mama.
I mean, look, they're grown adults. They made their own decisions.
Yeah.
And I wanted him. You talk about the whole social media thing. You saw my face the whole time you were saying that.
Yes.
The only thing, the only response I could have had is horrible podcast material. I really wanted to fart into the microphone when you said that about this whole social media push to sell his alcohol. It's just it's ridiculous. And I would have rather him announce a retirement, and I feel like there was a more clever way for him to announce, I'm selling some liquor.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point in his career, I mean, does he really need attention for alcohol? Like you said, he's got his hands in everything, right?
Yeah. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, didn't him and Dwayne Wade and Carmelo do the whole wine thing like 7-8 years ago?
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably wearing capri pants.
Yeah, they were wearing the short
I don't
pants
know.
with no socks. No
I
socks.
know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just envision them
Yeah, with no
wearing
socks.
that as they're sipping one.
Yeah, that
And
absolutely happened.
And then they go ride the banana boat.
Yes, all together. Yeah, rowing in unison.
Hey, they're fun, they're friends, but I don't. But like I said, I think he's I mean, that's the kind of stuff when we talk about the GOAT and things like this. It's like, why even do something like this? Just make a commercial. Just do like everybody else. And I know like social media is the way, right? But let it come out. Like, just like, why are we even doing stupid stuff like this to announce?
No, he could have done a launch. Like, he could have had a launch for. I mean, everyone is selling alcohol nowadays. I mean, George Clooney, was selling alcohol, like it. Yeah, I mean, so that is part of. So he's a little late when it comes to that, but there were so many
We're late to the podcast game.
That's true. That's true. But I'm not trying to shut down all of NBA media,
No.
just to try to sell liquor. From a basketball perspective, I did want to touch on this about LeBron. So he's hurt already. He's going to miss some chunks of the preseason, which, go figure. But I'm looking at their roster the same way we just looked at the Pelicans roster. I don't know what to make of it. So the key players, obviously Lebron and Luka, and that's 1A, 1B.
And Luka lost weight.
Luka did slim down. We're definitely going to talk about Luka's weight loss. His weight loss was more impressive to me. That's for another subject for another day. But so LeBron, Luka, DeAndre Ayton was their offseason acquisition. Rui Hachimura, great player. 5'2" player. He is awesome. Dalton Connect, coming off the bench. You still got Austin Reeves. Picked up Marcus Smart. Like, they have a nice, solid roster, with Bronny James keeping the bench nice and warm at the end. But I don't know if this team is strong enough to carry them through. Honestly, like, I don't know if they make it out of the first round of the playoffs. I just don't see it.
Well, that's been their pattern lately. JJ Redick's still trying to prove himself as a head coach. They picked up Nick Smith Jr. I don't know if you mentioned him at the same time. I don't know that would have popped off that they got Nick Smith Jr. after the Hornets released him. And that would take Bronny's spot right there because he's way better than Bronny James.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
So they got pretty much the same. They added the big. They said they wanted a big, somebody like Anthony Davis. So they got Ayton, who can still put up numbers. But again, is that going to be enough to beat the Nuggets, beat the Wolves, beat the Thunder, and all these other? I mean, even the Clippers now. They added Brook Lopez as well. I forgot to mention him earlier. So again, the West is stacked.
The West is stacked.
And again, LeBron's getting older. He can still ball, but he would have to do a lot of load management in the regular season and then really turn it on in the playoffs. And normally he wears out.
Wow. I'm looking at the Lakers playoff history. 2021, first round exit. 2023, lost in the conference finals.
So no playoffs in 22.
No playoffs in 22. 2024, they lost in the first round to Denver. And this past season, they lost in the first round to the T-Wolves as the third seed. They were the third seed in the West and still got bounced in the first round. So they got a lot of work to do. You mentioned JJ Redick. I don't want to insult JJ. I think he has the potential to be a really good coach, but the one thing he seems to lack to me is patience. He doesn't seem to understand that these things are going to take time. And, LeBron's on his last legs. We talked about it. He's probably got another year left. Luka's finally in shape. They've got a solid roster and they have a bench. This is their opportunity to do something, and I still don't see it.
They're going to be in the mix, and they you never know about the regular season. Once again, every time I talk about the NBA, I talk about that regular season where we don't know who's trying, who's not trying, and you get in the top 6, you're doing good, right? You don't, as long as you're not in the play-in. So, they could mail it in until the playoffs and then turn it on or try to turn it on. But when you go up against, these other guys like Anthony Edwards and again, the Thunder, even the Nuggets, again, Jokic just owns the Lakers. So I just, there's just too many teams that's going to be better. And we expect others like Wembyana and the Spurs, the Mavericks, if they're healthy, Rockets with Kevin Durant. So
yeah, they got a lot. They've got a lot to compete with, and a lot of these teams are incredibly young, and they've got the legs that you need in the playoffs. I think that's what helped carry Minnesota last year. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I feel good. I feel good about too many other teams for me to have any significant faith in the Lakers' postseason accomplishments. I'm not seeing it.
No, it's about over for LeBron.
All right, so we'll stick with basketball. It seems to be a basketball-heavy show. We're going to cover the WNBA. We're going to talk about the Nafisa Collier, Kathy Engelbert dust-up. We'll call it that. Nafisa Collier, awesome, amazing WNBA player. Her team got bounced from the playoffs, and she took to the podium and took shots at the league commissioner, unlike I've ever seen a player do ever. Like, we've seen people be upset with, commissioners in sports or maybe even like their head coach, but to have her go after, the commissioner of the league the way that she did was incredibly aggressive. I think it was warranted, but it was still something that we'd never seen. Do you have the quote, Kent? Do you just kind of want to point out a couple of things that she pointed out?
Well, yeah. So the big quote was, I guess they had a conversation, and Engelbert told Collier that, speaking of Caitlin Clark, that Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. I guess she didn't realize that she had a Nike deal, a Gatorade deal before the WNBA draft. So, I mean, I think Caitlin Clark was popular before the WNBA.
You think?
I mean, I think she was. I think people were watching, again, Iowa basketball for the first time in their life.
Yeah, Iowa. No, not only Iowa basketball, Iowa women's basketball. And to clarify what you said, not only, did she also, like you said, she had some Nike deals and some Gatorade deals. She also had a deal with State Farm. Her earnings in college estimated at $3.1 million before she touched the WNBA basketball court. So she was making plenty of money. Everyone knew she was a star. I won't say that her going to the WNBA didn't elevate her, because it did. It certainly helped her. But the amount of money that was being thrown around to try to get her to play in the Big Three basketball league, like against men, there was money that was thrown to her, and she chose to take less and play in the WNBA. Amongst her contemporaries, it's insulting. I think that commissioner, if she could go back in time, I think she would prevent herself from saying those things that she said. Maybe I'm not sure if her intentions were for her statements to be made public, but you have to know, when you say something that inflammatory, that disrespectful to the biggest star in your sport, you gotta think that it's gonna get out at one point or another. So it's unfortunate. It bothers me that that she has that type of arrogance about her. But yeah, I mean, it was an insult. And of course, Nafisa Collier made other statements as well. Just kind of the lack of care that comes from the league's front office regarding player injuries, inconsistent refereeing. She made it clear that her statements weren't about winning or losing. It was just about the health and the kind of the dignity of the sport that is the WNBA.
Yeah, and I know we previously, another episode, I talked about the WNBA and their growth and if they're ready for that and some of the player issues. And we mentioned Caitlin Clark, so I guess the positive out of this was Collier had Clark's back, right? Which is a good thing.
Yes.
But on the other side, you talked about it wasn't about winning and losing, but you have to think this came after, again, they got ousted from the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Now she got hurt in the previous game before elimination. Collier did, by a collision that was not called a foul. Then when we get into leadership and running the league, I'm glad we are talking about this because I saw this. So their head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, Cheryl Reeve, she blasted the refs after that game, a playoff game. Okay, she was fined and then she was suspended for the next playoff game. So not only is Collier out with an injury, their head coach is out because the league decided to suspend a head coach for making comments about officiating in the league in a playoff game. Now I know we watch a lot. Again, we watch WNBA. I mean, not WNBA, NBA, NFL, MLB. More in the NBA, playoff series. You know this. Coaches always, after a loss, come up and say they're trying to nudge the calls to go their way the next game. Now, she really did blast them. But still, you got to think, just fine her, right? We're suspending coaches in playoffs. So that's just another, mark against Engelbert of running her league. We see how she feels about her players, but just the fact that, I don't know what she had to do with that suspension. I just don't agree with it. Why in a playoff game, right? And what could be what ultimately was their final game, they got eliminated.
We're going to get to Adam Silver here in a second.
Yes.
And boy, do I have some words for that gentleman. But when it comes to Engelbert, it's looking at this from afar, looking at her actions, they seem to be really defensive, really reactionary. And I don't want anyone to take offense to this, but I've always had an opinion when I would see strong, educated, well-deserving women in leadership positions. And I would always kind of ask myself, are they behaving in a manner that they believe a man would in their same position? That may be unfair, but in this particular situation, her actions were so heavy-handed. Her comments were so insulting to the very people that make her league prominent. It's as if she totally blacked out and thinks that she's a famous basketball player. And let's just, we can be honest with one another right now, me and you. Just give it to me straight. Did you know the commissioner's name before these comments? Did not know her name. So I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. She could come here, smack me in the face right now, have no idea who she is. I'd be like, I don't know who this woman was that just hit me. So for her to say the things that she said and for her to behave the way that she, suspending a coach in the playoffs, facing an elimination game, short-sighted. I do think that the consequences for these things will be heavy-handed. The players aren't going to take it laying down. The coaches clearly aren't going to take it laying down. And if the coaches and the players are smart enough, what they should do is go after the money and go after their sponsors and tell their sponsors that they need to go ahead and pull that money, pull that revenue from the league. So that way she can either step down or they find a replacement and get somebody else in. She's bad at her job. And it's tough to say that over two things, kind of like we're casting some aspersions on her, but I didn't make these decisions. She did.
No, you're right. And then again, she's obviously denying that she ever said these things to Collier.
Because who just makes those things up?
Yeah, who would make those things up?
Who just makes it up?
Like I said, it's not a very well-run league. Again, I mentioned my concerns again about the expansion.
Yeah.
And, but then when you've got teams, I feel like WNBA teams move around a lot, which that's not. I mean, is that her fault? Is there's owners of those teams. They're just not doing what they need to do in those cities.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah, I
really
can see
look at
that.
the history, if you look at the history of the WNBA, there's a lot of moving, and even recent, like the Connecticut Sun, I think, are possibly moving to Boston. But again, they're being sold. It's getting switched. The Chicago Sky, I believe, they practice in a rec center or an old warehouse or something.
Yeah, well, no,
I think it's the warehouse where Michael Jackson filmed Jam. But again, the WNBA is growing. Again, we talked about it before, the TV deal. But the young players, again, that's why it's popular. The Caitlin Clarks and Angel Reese.
Yeah. Angel Reese. Yeah.
Asia was Anescu. They're all Beckers. They're all the young stars. Is obviously the reason. So to bash them, even in private like that, means that she is completely out of touch. And I agree, she does need to be removed.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. It's hard to understand, and this was an opportunity for her to really make a name for herself, and she took a giant dump on it. So
Yeah.
I hope some very strong, swift moves are made in regard to her position. If she's gone, good riddance. Because I feel like they could absolutely get someone better in that role as the WNBA commissioner. Speaking of basketball commissioners, let's jump on this Adam Silver, LA Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, Steve Ballmer saga. Now, we had an NBA podcast already recorded. There were some pretty good stuff in that recording. We still have it. We may drop that episode. Who knows?
We talked about Kawhi in a previous episode.
We did talk about Kawhi. I was more speaking to our
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yes. No, you're good. Our pitch to one Mr. Adam Silver.
Yeah. We do have one recorded. Yes.
We do. It's a great recording, guys. It's awesome. So, but this is where I hit a wall. My fear is that the NBA is going to try to weight the Clippers, Ballmer, Kawhi. What I feel, my opinion, is that it is a clear-cut textbook case of salary cap circumvention that deserves the harshest penalties in all of sports. That's my opinion. I don't care who you throw at me. I'm not moving off that mountain. I own it, okay? This is where I think they're going to try to drag this out, hope that fans forget about it. The season starts. The season is exciting. Things are happening. They're not going to take away the All-Star game from the Clippers. It's going to be in LA. It's going to be at the Clippers' new arena. They didn't penalize Ballmer by taking that from him.
No, and we've seen teams be penalized for stuff that wasn't even related to the league.
For less.
We saw the Charlotte lose the All-Star game. We've seen the Atlanta Braves lose the All-Star game, only to get it back some years later. But this is like directly connected, and they're still going to keep the All-Star game there, which doesn't matter to me, but it does matter in that Ballmer and the Clippers are going to benefit off of this. Not necessarily
benefit
Los
greatly.
Angeles,
Yeah, benefit greatly.
But they're going to get eyeballs on his arena, and so they're just kind of, like you said, you kind of keep on, like, maybe it'll go away and just keep moving forward. And but yeah, like Adam Silver, he's not really, as you said, to bring down the hammer. It just looks like he's gonna just keep on rewarding them.
And I might have to re-record this, and maybe I'll put this out with a video. But I implore anyone who is like me, and what I mean by that is anybody who is a true NBA fan. I am a fan of the league. I do not have a favorite team. But let's say you do have a favorite team. And let's say your team is any team other than the Clippers. Okay? You have to understand that the NBA Finals that we just had between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers does not take place when you allow teams that make a ton of money to circumvent the salary cap in the manner in which the Clippers did, in my opinion. So for me, there's a lot of movements that take place nowadays in America where people speak with their dollars. People boycott companies that do things that they don't like. Me, I'm going to go so far to say that I'm going to boycott basketball, the sport that I love. I'm going to boycott the NBA, okay?
I've heard this before from you.
You did. Oh, hold on. Totally different circumstances. Totally different circumstances. But I want to create a movement. I want to create a movement where we can convince Adam Silver that we're not suckers. That we're not just going to take the bait. We're not just going to be okay with the, oh yeah, we'll pass out their punishment after the All-Star game. We're going to tell you we're going to tell you in October that our investigation into salary cap circumvention is going to conclude after we give this team and this owner and this new arena an All-Star game. You're not going to move it out of LA. Move it to crypto.com arena. Just do it over there. Don't allow him to benefit with all these clouds hovering over him. And I need NBA fans to be loud. Any Clippers game, road teams, make sure that you're chanting, make sure that you're letting them know. If it was me, I would tell anybody who's going to a game that the Clippers are going to play in, I would say boycott that game. I would say don't go. Don't even support your team. Keep the arena as empty as possible and let everybody know that, whoa, hey, the attendance for all these Clippers games are down by 30, 40%. I get super fired up about this stuff. I don't like cheaters, dude. It makes my blood boil, and especially with somebody like Ballmer. Do you really have an idea how rich he is?
No, but I know he's pretty rich. But you know, how rich is he? I mean, if you're gonna say, yeah.
So Ballmer's net worth is over $100 billion. It's $158 billion with a B dollars. So just to put that in comparison, the 300 or so million that he sunk into that company aspiration, part of the salary cap circumvention, total drop in the bucket. That's nothing to him.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of you paying $50.
Yeah.
It's nothing to him. It's play money. All of his money is play money. So the hammer needs to come down. I hope Adam Silver takes this stuff seriously, but I don't think they will.
But what about like Kawhi? I mean, like, how is he just going to get off scot-free? And then what about the rest of the league? Have you heard anything from the rest of the league? They should be really upset. The other owners, the other teams.
Okay, so I'll address those in sequence. So with Kawhi, the questions are simple. Did Kawhi know that the contract that he signed was a factor of salary cap circumvention? I believe he does. I believe he did know. And,
for sure.
And I don't know what the league does to punish him for that. I have some ideas, but I do think it should be strong. So that way it's not just one side of it where it's just, the league front office and ownership who are taking the L on it. Kawhi should absolutely suffer a penalty. And I think you just suspend him for like a year and just take all of his salary just do it. You can't set the precedent that what he did was okay. It is not. You got to be heavy-handed. Void a contract and say, you know what? I'm just going to ban you for a year, dude. We don't like the way you did this. I think that would be fair. So that's, the first part. The second thing, when you asked about the other teams and other players, coaches, owners. So Steve Ballmer's incredibly well liked. And one thing we're seeing now, probably more than any time ever in America's history, is people love rich people, man. They love guys who have the money. And Ballmer has so much money that he can be frivolous with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. He can just play with $1 billion and get whatever he wants. He paid cash to build his own arena. When have you ever heard that? Right? He's got play money. So I think his power and influence and his ability to be able to walk into a room and have people respect him because of how much money he has, I think that's what has everyone shutting up, except for Mark Cuban, who's, carrying his lunch pail every day. Mark Cuban is putting on the Superman cape for Steve Ballmer because, one of the richest people on the planet needs Mark Cuban's fucking help. God, man. Listen, and I'm going to go off on a tangent. The Mark Cuban stuff hurts me a lot, man.
Yeah.
Mainly because I've been a big fan of him for so long because he seemed to be such a principled person. He's not what I thought he was. And for him to come to the defense with so much evidence, so much documentation of again what to me is clear, it hurts a little bit, man. It cuts deep. Especially for it to be that guy. I've always been a fan of his, and I don't know if there's any turning back for me with Mark Cuban. I'm off. I'll jump off my soapbox now.
It's okay. We just need, we need leadership. We need leadership to do better.
They have to.
NBA and the WNBA.
Yes, they have to. Yeah, from both sides of it, they absolutely must. And there's so much money, and we can gloss over this. For the first time ever, you're looking at people who are talking about having competitors to the NBA. This is this is real damage to your product, to the authenticity of the best basketball players, the best teams, the best organizations in the world. People just want to pool hundreds of millions of dollars together and just go compete with you because they're catching you slipping.
Yeah.
Do something. Adam Silver, do something different, dude. Please put your David Stern pants on, man. Please. I don't want to have to dig that dude up, but we might have to.
Gotta do better.
Gotta do better. You want to have some fun?
Let's have fun.
You want to have some fun? All right. So our fun topic, our fun topic for the day is we're going to keep this all basketball theme, all professional basketball here. So our fun topic of the day is going to be a simple question. Kent, you get an opportunity to build your own team. You get to pick from the best version of Shaquille O'Neal or the best version of Stephen Curry.
I'm going to go Curry. And I'm going to give you my reason here. So Shaq was dominant, and so was Curry.
Yes.
Two different positions, two different builds. One could shoot, one couldn't shoot. But you may argue with me with this. I feel like Curry did more with less.
Wow. Okay.
So again,
I can't argue against that, sir. I can't argue against it.
Yeah, Curry did more with less. Wasn't expected to be. Not that matters. I mean, because we're just talking about building a team. We know what they are in their prime. But yeah, I want that guy, man. I want that guy that moves around and doesn't get fat. Those Cavs and Celtic years, man. They, but yeah, Curry's gonna make your. I think he just makes the team better. Everything he does more. Shaq is obviously dominant. It would probably depend on the era, but yeah, give me Curry. I'd start with Curry.
Okay. And I love these parts of these episodes that we do where I get to catch you off guard and I get to take your own words and use them against you. Oh man, I love this shit. Okay, so I'm gonna take Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. I'm gonna take Shaq for a myriad of reasons. One, the reasons for his greatness are unlike Curry's. It's a brute force physical dominance that Shaq had. He was always a presence when he was on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I'm going to take him instead of Curry is the same reason why you chose Curry to begin with. You said that one of your reasoning was because Curry did more with less. I don't have to do that with Shaq. I get to build the team around him. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take Shaq and I'm going to do the easiest thing you can do for Shaquille O'Neal. I'm going to give him a strong power forward who can rebound and defend so he doesn't have to do so much of that. He can just be the dominant offensive player and a presence in the middle defensively. And then I'm going to do the thing that any current modern day coach GM would do. I'm just going to surround him with shooters. Shaq never had a great 3-point shooting team surrounding him. Never.
Fair.
Okay?
Fair.
He was he was never a phenomenal passer, okay? But I do think that he was a better passer than we want to give him credit for. So you give him a fantastic guard that could shoot. You give him a 2 guard that great passer that could hit open shots. You got a 3, what do they call him? A 3-and-D guy. Put him in the corner. A 4 that could stretch the floor maybe, anywhere from, 14 to 20 feet. And then you got Shaq. Pick your poison. What are you going to do? Who are you going to guard? You're right. That's what I would do with a one Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. And keep in mind, this is them at their peak dominance. So This is him at his absolute best. That means I get his best 2-point efficiency. I get his best free throw percentages. I get his best rebounding. I get his best defense. Give me Shaquille O'Neal, sir. Easy.
I can't argue.
Yeah.
We had to take one or the other.
We did. And you know what? Hold on. And this is unfair. We need to flip this the next time because I feel like I go second. And it's like a freestyle battle where I go last.
It's all right. It doesn't matter.
Where I go last,
Yeah, I don't think there's a wrong answer.
No, not at all. And like you said, especially with Curry.
I think Shaq is obviously he was the more dominant. Again, what he accomplished as a center without having a jump shot, without being able to shoot free throws.
Yeah.
Just like you said, his physical force. He was again, we talk about freak athletes. He was that.
This question, it's fun. I love thinking about stuff like this. This one's really easy for a very, very simple reason. And it's because when you build a team around, whether it's Shaq or Curry, all you're going to do is overcompensate for all of their weaknesses. So for Shaq, you're just going to overcompensate and have great free throw shooters, great shooters around him, good defenders to keep him out of foul trouble. And then for Curry, okay, he's not the most physically imposing point guard. So you just surround him with guys that are tough, durable, got, fantastic athleticism, good cardio, and complement his game. Good passers, pick and pop, setting screens, running plays. It's a really, really easy question. And like you said, it's like, hey, what do you want to drink? You want Coke or you want Pepsi?
Yeah, that's Coke.
Oh, do you? You want Coke?
That's easy.
What's so funny? I haven't had a soda in so long. I can't tell you the last time I've had a Coke or a Pepsi to drink. I'm weird like that. Just give me some water.
Yeah. Coke's my go-to if I need a soda.
Coca-Cola, yeah, okay, I can get that. Yeah, some cheer wine. Yeah,
I'll drink a cheer wine.
I know you'll drink. I know you'll drink a cheer wine.
All right, so that's another episode of Fanatically Speaking. I am Kent, co-host and promoter.
I am Log Off, the Log Off legend, the hater of social media. I am the co-host and producer of the show. We want to thank you guys for listening in again. I want to say this. We haven't been saying it as much lately. Keep in mind that this is a podcast for fans by fans. We kind of got away from that for a while, but that's what we do. we love the fan engagement. Kent brought up a couple of situations, a couple of things earlier today where, you know, people have been reaching out to him who've listened to the show. We love that engagement. We want to keep encouraging that. So feel free to reach out to us on all of our socials: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, join us in the comments, and make your voice heard, because this is a podcast for fans by fans.
That's it.
That's it. You got nothing else?
That's it. It's a wrap.